All right. All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our tennis discussion group. As we all know it, it's the off season, and we haven't done a show in a while. So we're going to try and do a quick one today.
Yes.
Let's go. All right. So hopefully all is well. It is the off season currently, and it's hugely important for a lot of reasons. She's smiling. She's smiling because we did the show twice, and the phone keeps cutting off. And it's a new phone.
Oh,
all right. So anyway, back into the swing of things. So the off season is hugely important for a lot of reasons.
Right.
Okay. The body can rest, the mind can rest, injuries can heal, vacation time, family time.
Yeah.
Right.
Vacation time is super important. I follow a lot of the tennis players, and I'm seeing them on their yachts. They're going to the beach. They're going to the water parks. They're having fun, and that's good. That's important as an athlete, as any professional athlete. It's super important to rest because the first tournament of the year is grueling and hot.
And it's hot.
And we've seen a lot of players retire in this tournament.
So these are all hugely important things. Rest and R&R and vacation and family, hugely important things. But for myself, and surely for a lot of you, more importantly than all of these things, in terms of the run-up to the Australian Open, in about a month or so, are for me the following things. Number one, how the players use their 1 to 3 months off. How do they use it?
Right.
I understand we're doing vacations. I understand we're doing family time, and I understand we're doing or having injuries heal and resting and so forth. But how are we training in those 1 to 3 months off? Or are we just saying, all right, I'm not playing any tennis, I'm not going to the gym, I'm taking 3 months off, and I'm just going to show up and play a warm-up? And
I don't think any tennis player does that. I think they train, they just don't show what they do. I mean, you don't want to show what you're doing.
True. Well,
you don't want your other opponents to see how you're training, how you're dieting. You know?
Well, yeah, no, but you still have to train.
Of course you do.
Absolutely. Okay, so two, how do you train, and in the midst of vacations and yachts and everything, how much are you training? I think it's hugely important. Rest. How much are you sleeping? How much are you actually relaxing? Are you doing backflips off of a yacht or diving off a cliff and hiking up trails? How are you resting? How are you training? Practice. How are you practicing? Yes, you are taking time off, but as we all know, that tennis is a game in which you have to hit tennis balls every single day.
Well, I'm sure that a lot of the players right now are training in hot conditions because the Australian Open is very hot, humid, and again, I mean, it's one of the most grueling Grand Slams in my opinion.
Yeah, don't. I think usually like the Federer, Nadal's, and maybe even Djokovic. I think they travel to hot places of the world, more dry, hot air.
Yes, so that way they get used to the climate.
Doha, Middle East. I think some of them train in. How are they sleeping? Are you partying at night, or are you going to bed at 9 and waking up at at 8, 9 in the morning, getting 10, 8, 12 hours of sleep? Or are you going to bed at 2 in the morning and waking up at 6 and going out on the tennis court with weak knees, weak body, weak mind, and risking injury? How are we practicing during, or how are we practicing and sleeping and mixing those two together? And also mixing in the body resting, the family, the vacation. How are we juggling it all together?
Well, I'm sure players like Monfils and Kyrgios, I'm sure they're partying. I'm pretty sure they're not practicing as hard as a Federer or Djokovic or Nadal or Kachanov or even as a Severev.
Okay, even more importantly, and I think we've seen Djokovic epitomize this as of recent. How are we changing or adapting our diets to have longevity in the game of tennis? Isn't it important during your off season to maybe look at the year ahead? What tournaments are we going to play? How am I going to eat? Am I going to hire a dietitian? And yeah, not every player can afford this type of thing, but isn't it not the old saying that what you get in, what you put in, or what you put in your body is what you get out? I think Djokovic has done a really good job at showing the importance of this. But in this month or two off, the younger people that can't quite seem to break through, I think if they would focus more to longevity, to diet, to exercise, to fitness, to sleep, to training, in the off season, I think their following seasons would be better.
Yeah, I was reading an article where it said Djokovic, he had a pretty strict diet. He doesn't do any sugars. He doesn't do any protein bars. He takes out the cheese, the dairy. He eats a lot of fruits and vegetables, no beans. So he's got a pretty strict diet.
I agree, and I think the results speak for themselves.
Yeah.
So ultimately, again, we know any athlete, young, old, veteran, whatever, is going to do the family time. They're going to do the vacation time, and blah. But I think the best of the best, when they take the time off, they're looking at their schedules, they're training differently, they're resting at the same time, but yet working harder, if that makes any sense. Their sleep, their diet, their nutrition. I think the ones that have shown it the longest are the big three. And unfortunately, if the big three cease to exist, I think we're going to see kind of a transition to the women's type game in terms of new major winners all the time, and not necessarily the same consistent ones. So I encourage the younger players to focus hard on this last month off, and to focus on diet, sleep, nutrition, exercise, gym, staying sharp. Because if not, then unfortunately there's going to be a lot of early exits in the Australian Open this year too.
Yes, and we saw that last year. I mean, there were people dropping like flies.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, isn't it the first major of the year? Don't we want to see who can be the most prepared for a 3 out of 5 set match? 3 out of 5 set match and have to win 8 in a row?
To me, the Australian Open is like watching, back in the days, the gladiators fight. I mean, here is going to be who's the toughest, who can make it all the way to the end.
Yeah, so ultimately, in a month, we're going to have the Australian Open. Potential brutal heat, 3 out of 5 sets, and the winner must win 8 matches in a row. That's a tall task asking for anybody.
I see a lot of retirements in women's again.
Yeah, so ultimately, the time from U.S. Open completion to the warm-ups for the Australian Open, if you want to be a major winner here in Australia, you're gonna have to have put in 3 months of respectable and disciplined training, diet, sleep, nutrition, and at the same time getting in the material things like family and Christmas shopping or whatever it is that they do.
You're allowed to have fun, but you also got to be disciplined.
Got to be disciplined. So the big three have done that for so long. So if okay. So for me, if any of the younger guys want to win their first major, I think we are going to find that next young major winner by looking at who put in the most since the U.S. Open completed into their training, to their fitness, to their diet, their schedule, at the same time getting the mental stuff in, family, the psychology, and so forth, but at the same time grew as a man and as an athlete. Instead of stayed the same, still spent time with the family, still stuck with the same old same, came back and expecting different results. Didn't Einstein say that it's madness to think that you can do the same thing and expect different results?
Right. You got to change something.
So, if you're a youngster that hasn't broken through yet, change something in the off season, change your entourage, change your habits, whatever, and be more disciplined and turn the corner. And I think we'll see another major winner on the men's side besides the big three.
I think so.
Given that one of the younger guys can have a great off season.
Yes, I think so.
Let's go. All right. So, question. Here we go. So, which of the younger guys do you think puts in the most during the offseason based upon what you have seen from them in the past year and at the very end of this season and what you have seen in the highlight reel so far and the non-important tournaments, as we always say, the Paris and the ATP finals and so forth? Which youngster do you think, or even hope, puts in the most this offseason or that you have seen develop?
Well, to me, I know he's maybe not a youngster because he looks like a man, Thor, Kachanov. I mean, I think he's 23, but to me, he has the most potential of beating the top 3 players. With Tsitsipas as my second one, I think he still has time to develop. I think he still needs to put some weight on himself. But to me, Kachanov has the best chance of beating one of these guys. I don't think he'll do it in clay. I don't think he'll do it at the French Open, but he has a good chance at Australian, the US Open, or at Wimbledon maybe.
So, for me, I think that Zverev, the young Zverev, has noticeably thickened up in the legs. I think he looks stronger. right?
Okay.
I think if he gets a good month or two of positive training and rest, he could break through next year.
Well, he has a good coach, Lendo. I mean, Lendo's pretty serious.
Oh, he does have Lendo coaching.
Lendo looks like he doesn't play games. He looks like he reminds me of Djokovic's coach.
I totally spaced he had Lendo.
Yeah, he has Lendo. So I think things might. I don't like Severev that much. He's not one of my favorite players. Not because I don't like him personally. His game style. I think he can learn how to volley a bit more. But I think Lendo probably will take him to the next level.
Totally. Great. I mean, it's not that I didn't think about it. I just
yeah,
didn't.
he started with Lendo at the end of the year.
So, do you think Lendo had great? This is totally off topic, and we want to keep this short and quick. But do you think Lendo is a great coach?
To me, he is. I mean, he helped Murray out a lot.
Okay, I don't have any positives. Or sorry, we have the little guy running around here. And again, we've tried to record this twice in the phone call. I don't want to say that Lendl is a great coach or not. I think he did really good with Murray. I think he's a heck of a player and one that I watched almost my entire life. But in any event, what I saw from Zverev this past year, and not just because he won the ATP World Tour Finals, again, I think that's more exhibitionist or an exhibition per se. But Zverev for me, aside from that, again, I think that's relevant. I think Zverev has showed a capacity to grow. I know he's been around for a couple of years, but I've seen his legs thicken up. He used to have legs like mine, toothpicks, right? So
wow.
So I have seen his quadriceps, his hamstrings, his upper leg strength grow exponentially in the past.
Well, maybe don't you think it's also because he's becoming a man? He's older. As a boy, the body. He was still a boy when we saw him, and he's starting to get older, and the body does change, don't you think?
Yeah, it does, but I think that we can't say the same. I see the same theme. I see the same.
But Thiem is strong. I don't think Thiem has to do with lifting weights or getting stronger. I think for him it's all mental.
We'll see. I think Zverev has shown that he puts a lot of work in, and I really hope and think that he may break through.
He's trying. He's definitely trying hard.
Don't forget about Borna Coric. I like Borna Coric a lot. I think he's shown a lot. He had some flashes this past year. I thought personally that he would show more flashes the year before this past year, and I like Coric a lot. So I think that if he puts in some smart offseason, I think next year will be bright for him. Shapovalov's been hanging around. I don't see much change in him.
He's one of my favorite, and I think he needs to add more. He still looks like a little boy to me when I see him play. I mean, he needs to change some of the things. He's too risky. He tries to play around too much. The shot selections are not great yet, He fools around too much on the court. I think he still needs another year to mature.
And he still jumps and leaps at the back end.
But I love the new look. I love the new haircut.
You got a haircut.
I love it.
All right, so Khachanov, again, the context of this question is who have we seen and watched? And again, I have to just pause here. So we did this show, we got new phones, we got a computer, so the phone went cut off. And we just did this show, and it was like one of the best ever, and the phone cut off. So we spent like 35 minutes, and I walked around and it stopped at 4 minutes. So this was like take 2, and I'm like...
Take 3,
and I'm like, man, that was so good, so... Man, frustrating. It's like racket smash. It's like swap
That's
out.
all right. Just continue.
Let's go. Come on.
You should never smash your racket. No, you don't have it here. Look.
All right, here we go. All right, so Shapovalov again. For me, I don't think that Shapovalov will even come close to winning a major at this point ever. I just don't.
He's still young, Justin.
I like the
He's
kid.
19 years old. He's still young. Severev is what? Almost 21.
I think Zverev's. I think he's 22, isn't he?
Okay.
I don't know. I may be wrong.
We no longer have young champions like we did back in the 80s. Things have changed.
All right. So again, which of the younger guys do you think puts the most during the off season? At least what you have seen in the past year.
I would like to see
Khachanov.
Tsitsipas. I think to me also is another good possibility. He's very smart on the court. He can hit hard. He has good shot selection. He knows how to play the net well. He knows how to get the crowd into the match. He just needs to get a little bit stronger, but I think he can do a lot.
He's still so wiry, you know.
Well, he's so thin. You know, he still looks like a boy, too. But I think he can do a lot.
Kachanov, okay, but can his size hold up?
Thor, man. I don't know. I like Thor.
But and again, I haven't.
He's strong.
We started
beforehand.
We started following Kachanov almost on a daily basis this year.
Yes.
This past year.
Yes.
Whereas the context of the question is who have we seen develop over the past year and then before? And so what I'm saying is which younger player or any player besides the big three, Djokovic, Federer, Nadal, or the likes of say Isner, Anderson, Cilic, you know, besides Nishikori, besides those type guys, which over the past year, heading into this Australian Open, the past year and a half, have you seen develop the most physically, mentally, strategically, tactically, and everything else? I say it has to be Zverev. I was hoping Coric 2 years ago, but I still see the same Coric.
I think for me, I'm going to go with Kachanov and Tsitsipas. Those will be my two for this year.
All right. Well,
New year.
I'm going to pull on Zverev and Coric.
Okay.
Zverev, Coric. All right. Who do you like to break through, given what we just discussed, beginning next month? Who do you...
Honestly, I would like to see Thiem finally win a Grand Slam.
And I think finally Zverev will do it.
I don't think Thiem will. I'm just saying it'd be nice for him because he's starting to get into his late 20s.
Yeah, I mean, if you had to pick one to break through in Australia,
I think Kachanov. I'll go with Kachanov.
All right, coming up next, Justin Gimelstob has been in the news. I caught a lot of grief last year when I mentioned that this guy was cocky, had a huge ego, and wasn't any fun to be around, as well as how egotistical this guy was. And now what do you know? He's in the news for beating someone up.
Assault on his estranged wife.
So the only reason why I even brought this up is not to slander anybody. That's not what I am here to do.
No, but there is one viewer.
But there's a reason why I even wrote this in there.
Yeah.
Last year on this show, we had, or maybe I had mentioned that over the years we have been at some major tournaments as spectators. I was doing some stringing at one. And have met many players over the years that have been around Mr. Gimelstob, and I think she was,
as a junior
player was aware of his presence as well. And no matter who you talk to, the answer was always the same. And I simply relayed that message on a video with this guy Gimelstob. Everyone I've ever met said he's cocky. He's really a kind of a I don't want to say a bad word, but kind of a space head.
He talks to women like they're garbage.
He talks down to people, thinks he's super cool, Mr. Hotshot, Mr. Good Looking, Mr. Tennis Champion, when I would beat that dude to this day. I'm just saying, what a bad
I don't know that you would. He was good in double. It was okay, I'll give him that. But he didn't do really much in singles.
He didn't do anything.
I'd rather watch Todd Martin play than
So the reason why I'm bringing this up is that when I mentioned that 6 months ago, there's another really solid player here that gave me grief, and a couple other people gave me grief about even saying such about Gimelstob because he seemed to be a good guy. I've been around the guy. We've been around the guy. We know people have been around the guy, and it's look. I'm not saying anybody's guilty of doing anything. I'm not saying anybody's innocent or not guilty. I'm just saying I'm not shocked that this happened based upon what I have heard over the years.
I think you're not the only one shocked.
And I mean over the years. Since I was probably 19, 18, I've heard this. Oh, you know who he is? Oh, yeah, man, that guy's
He's arrogant. He looks arrogant. When I see him on TV, he looks arrogant. He acts arrogant. I don't like him at all.
All I'm saying is I deserve some apologies for the grief that I was given for even mentioning that. And I'm not saying again. I hope everybody is well here. I hope there's nobody that's ill will.
Well, he's going to court sometime this week, I think, or next week on the 12th. And I know the ATP Council, Djokovic is one of them. He's in the council. They're going to decide whether to take Gimelstob out of the council. I know he just also stepped down from the tennis channel, so we'll see what happens, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just not shocked that
it's not good for tennis. It's not good for tennis. Not good for Isner. Isner represents, I mean, he seems like a nice guy. When I say Isner, he seems like a sweet, gentle soul. I don't know if you want to have Gimelstob around you. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm just definitely not shocked.
And maybe we're wrong. You're all innocent?
Yeah,
so proven guilty?
I'm not shocked that this happened, plain and simple. I said this on a video. When I brought this up, he was playing, he was sitting at Wimbledon watching Isner. He was sitting in his booth like this.
With the glasses.
With the glasses and stuff. And I'm like, man, I've met 100 people that know this dude, and they're like, this guy is a real whack job.
I'm sure Anna Kournikova is happy to see this.
And I got drilled because of it here on this show, and now I'm hoping someone's like, man, maybe you were right. At least one of you guys. Anyway, just saying. I don't think the ATP wants this guy heading it no matter what. No matter if he's innocent here or not.
I'm sure, you know what, Justin, they'll give him a second chance.
He deserves a second chance.
They'll give him a second. Like the other show we said, if a football player can beat on his wife, beat on his pregnant girlfriend, and they come back to football or any other athletes we've heard,
that's not what
they come back, he'll get a second chance.
I'm not even bringing up the social dynamics of that. I don't even care about all that. Fact of the matter is, I caught grief for mentioning that this guy was a bully.
He's a bully.
That's all. So I'm just relaying.
Believe me, this will change him.
I'm just saying, I don't care about all that
He
stuff.
will think about it a little.
I mean, I do care about, you beat up on someone. Yeah, you shouldn't do that at all. But I'm just saying, that's not why I brought it up. I brought it up because I simply mentioned last year, before any of this happened, that Justin Gimelstob has been known around locker rooms and social sectors and so forth of being a butt.
Yeah.
I'm not shocked it happened. I don't think the ATP would be in their best. It would be in their best interest to have any association. I'm sorry, but again, just saying. That's just what I've heard over the years. Moving forward, Halep Simona Halep starts the season with a new coach. Does this help her or hurt her?
It doesn't help her or hurt her. I think it's a good thing for her to find the right coach for her. Her and Cahill were good, but I think it was time for them to split up. You know, she's a mental case. She's tough. I think she's tough to work with mentally. She's a great player for her small frame. You know, she puts a lot of wear and tear on her body. I wish her luck.
I like Halep.
I like her too.
I don't think she wins another major. Unfortunately, I think she has some injury issues at this point. I love Halep. She's a grinder. She goes deep. But I've been a grinding player my whole life, and at 40, I've begun to feel the pain.
Well, maybe she's not injured.
But she grinds way more than I grind.
She does grind a lot.
And I really wish the best for her, but I don't think she wins another major, but I love the girl.
I don't know. I mean, she has a lot more potential than Pliskova or Bouchard or Stevens to win another slam.
Cahill. Is Cahill going to be coaching?
Oh, yeah. He'll be fine. He's a great commentator. You know, he's a great coach. He'll get any job.
Yeah,
he's still a commentator, so he's still working.
Yeah, I mean, Cahill's great. I did notice at the end of last year, he's always a coach with Team Adidas. He gets with Halep, all of a sudden she's got Nike hats on, he's got Nike hats on. So I hope that Cahill didn't squander any big Adidas deal to be dumped by Halep. But Halep, again, I love Halep. She's a great player. I have seen a lot of her photo shoots recently where I haven't seen a lot of that before, and you know how I feel about that stuff. But hopefully,
but she's never revealing. She actually looks, on the court, she looks pretty. I like the way she looks.
So hope to see Cahill coaching soon. Muguruza's new hairstyle, corn rolls. Does this help her next month? I saw some pictures of Muguruza training. Looks like she was kind of frolicking off a balanced balloon and not really
think it'll help her.
Rolls.
I don't think it'll help her at all. She had a great season 2 years ago. Last year was tough for her. I think maybe she's just trying to portray a strong girl. I don't know.
I haven't ever been a big Muguruza fan. I know she's won the French and Wimbledon. I don't think that she'll win another major, her either. And I don't think her hairstyle and photo shoot will help her either.
Well, I think she won her 2 Grand Slams. A lot of people won Grand Slams because Serena was not there.
One and done's, but no,
Serena was not there.
All right, moving forward. So, speaking of photo shoots, Eugenie Bouchard, Sloane Stephens, and Carolina Pliskova's recent swimsuit and thong photo shoots. Does this help their careers?
No, of course not. Come on.
All right, so Pliskova and Bouchard look extremely thin, as well as Svitolina.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm going to coin a term, and I'm going to call that coin that term Kournikova syndrome. I have to pick up time. We're at 23 minutes.
Yeah, I don't know why tennis players think that they have to be super thin. I know they're modeling and everything, but in any sport that you do, even volleyball players, you have to be strong. You have to lift those weights. I mean, it's any professional sports.
Here's my term: the Kournikova syndrome, and I'll explain it quickly. When I was a young boy, let's say I'm 41, so maybe between the ages of 10 and 16, somewhere in there, Kournikova came on the scene. She was the best thing ever. She started the modeling career. She started the glamour shots. She started dating the hot shot guys. She became thinner. She became more glamorous runway model look, and she demised out of the game. So what happens here is that people, or especially young ladies, they get into their sponsors, their first sponsorships. They get their first clothing line deal, and they find themselves in studios all day long doing those things. At the same time, they're not training. Their body's thin, and they whittle away. Not good diets, not good exercise. Exactly what we talked about at the beginning of the show during the offseason. Instead of training, thickening, strengthening, we're modeling pictures and tanking. So what we end up is a fragile body, like what we saw in Svitolina, and what I have seen from Eugenie Bouchard since she made the Wimbledon final in, I think, 2014. Sloane Stephens still looks thick, but I hope she's paying attention to her training, though, and less on her boyfriend if she wants to win another major and her glamorous bead shots. Pliskova has always been tall and thin, and she looks extremely tall and thin now. That's not going to help. Same thing happened to Kornikova. Same thing happened to Capriati and a million other players.
The same thing happened, but she realized it, and she started training, and she looked strong, and she won many Grand Slams.
So anyway, comment on the Kornikova syndrome. Yeah, it's nice to see the girls glamorous, but if they want to win majors, being that thin does not help. Any other women's players, comment below that you think are losing their bodies in terms of tennis bodies, the muscles. Are they getting too skinny? Who are they? Let's talk about it, and maybe we can help them. Serena looks fit, right?
Oh, she looks like she's coming back.
Let's go.
She looked good in her cover. I love the pictures.
All right, so what Serena said, with 1 month until the Australian Open begin, who wins it? Men, women. And me, I got Djokovic and I got Serena.
I'll go with Serena and Khachanov.
Serena Khachanov.
I'm not sure yet, though.
2 or 3 other people that could win it. If you could not choose either, Khachanov, Zverev, Cilic, Del Potro.
I'm gonna choose my man Nadal too.
Okay.
I'm gonna throw Nadal in there.
So on the men, she's so basically for us, Khachanov, Zverev, Cilic, Del Potro, or Nadal, but I don't have Nadal. Women's side, Osaka, Kvitova.
I'll go with Osaka or Kasatkina. I like both.
Yeah, Osaka, Kvitova, Sabalenka, Keys. She just threw in Kasatkina. I personally don't think that Federer or Nadal will win a major this year.
Disagree with you.
Real quick, so if all three or the big 3 men were not around, would we have a women's women type setup where there's a different major winner all the time?
Definitely.
Or if the big 3 weren't around, are there 3 or 4 guys that would win every major at this point?
I think once these guys retire, we'll see a lot of winners.
All right, so I agree. I think we're going to have a new major winner this year no matter what. Don't forget that Carla has a bet that if Djokovic won all 4 majors next year, that she would do an unfathomable, an unprecedented act of disgrace. She last year she had to paint herself on one bet. She plans to do much worse this year if Djokovic wins all 4 majors.
Well, for those Djokovic fans that watch, I'm sorry, I don't think you'll see that. He will not win all the 4 Grand Slams.
Yeah, I say watch out for Thiem at the French. Again, I don't think Nadal wins the French. I do not think he wins another
I think
French
Nadal
Open.
will win the French Open.
Again, I think if Djokovic does not win all 4, I think he should. He's the fittest. He's the best out there right now. Nadal, Federer, aging. And look, I know Nadal's equally as almost young as Djokovic. Federer's aging, and we've seen him slow, and I'm a Federer fan, and I'll admit that. Nadal has beat his body up so much, running that grueling, grinding, nasty game.
Well, so has Djokovic, and it's going to catch up with them.
I
can only do it for so long.
Well, I think right now there's a big 1 and not a big 3. I think there's a big 1 and not a big 3. So let me go ahead and try to clear this air out. I think Djokovic should and will win all 4, but if he does not, I do not think Nadal or Federer will win another one. Therefore, there will be a new major winner next year in the men's.
Well, don't you guys hope to see a new winner? Don't we get tired of seeing the same guys win? It's about time these guys break through. I mean, I really want to see somebody win the Australian Open besides Djokovic. I get tired of watching the same Grand Slams. Sure, I love Nadal and I love Federer and I enjoy watching Djokovic, but I want to see new people.
Exactly. Real quick and ending, next year the Davis Cup changes. We just watched the last bit of country versus country and kind of the year-long deal, so we'll see how that goes. It's now been moved into a format in which it's the exhibition time of year after the U.S. Open and maybe Paris or Shanghai if you even push those. You end up with the Laver Cup now, the Davis Cup now. You have some fancy thing, the ATP World Tour Finals and all this stuff. So.
I wasn't a big fan of the Davis Cup, but I think it's too bad they changed it. Now into 2 weeks. I think that takes out the dynamic of wanting to play for your country.
So we'll see what happens next year with that. We are keeping this short and sweet. So it was our goal to kind of burn through this. We had filmed this once and it stopped, so we did it again. So pardon the kind of lackluster performance per se. But welcome back to the group, guys. It's a month remaining until the Australian Open. And we're going to really ramp up the shows at that point in time. Comment below on everything. Leave a comment below. If we get enough comments below, we'll do another show.
We're going to change the format a bit. I mean, we're going to read the important comments. I mean, I'm not going to read the replies back and forth.
Any comments below, if you're just tuning in, answer all the questions you wish and comment on them below. We'll read them and discuss the best ones or all of them the next show. Don't forget, again, she has a bet that if Djokovic does win all four, she's going to do something crazy.
I'm not even worried.
And if you thought her paint job was crazy last year, this year is going to dwarf that if he wins all four. Catch up with us on Instagram at 5K Tennis, Facebook at 5K Tennis, or on Facebook at Justin, Justin, space Carla, Carla, space Davis, Davis.
Twitter at 5K Tennis 1.
Twitter at 5K Tennis 1.
Yeah.
So Instagram at 5K Tennis, Facebook at 5K Tennis, or at Justin, space Carlos with a C, space Davis, or at Twitter at
5K Tennis 1, or email me at 5ktennis@mail.com.
So click a like below, subscribe below, share the video, give us a thumbs up if you wish to contribute to the show. There's a PayPal link below. It always helps. And we will see all of you guys soon. So appreciate it. Much love to everybody. And the new season is about to start. And I mean, it's coming quickly in less than a month.
Can't wait.
And we'll see if we can deliver a better product to you guys this year.
Okay.
All right. Hopefully this saved after the second time. Third time. All right. See you guys. Take care. Let's go. Let's see you positive. Stay positive. Let's go.